Hello everyone, and welcome to my tutorial on how to replace the battery in your Sega Game Gear rechargeable battery pack. So I recently picked this up. The battery in it does not work. It won't charge at all. I was expecting this anyway. I only paid $5 for it, and I had planned on replacing the battery in it with a higher capacity one anyway. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that today, and it's actually not too difficult. Um, Let me tell you what you need first of all. Obviously, first of all, you will need a replacement battery. This is basically just a hobby RC battery. I ordered this one off of eBay. It was about $10. I'll put a link in the description to the page for this battery. It's from China, so it might take a while to get it, but it's a really high capacity, so and it was a good price. So you will need a certain size battery in order for it to be able to fit in the rechargeable battery pack. So the dimensions for this are 130 millimeters length, 45 millimeters width, and 24 millimeters thick. So this size battery will fit perfectly inside the rechargeable battery pack. And also the specifications for the battery, it needs to be 7.2 volts. It won't work if it's not. This is the capacity of the battery. This particular one is 3800 milliamp hours, or mAh. The higher that number, the longer it'll last. So this is about the highest capacity I've found in this size. Alright, so the tools you'll need to put the battery into the battery pack include a pair of very small needle nose pliers, a wire stripper. You can also use a pair of or a razor knife to cut the wires, because you will need to strip the wires here and put the battery connector from the old battery onto this one. So you'll need to strip the wires on both of them, and that's what you'll need these for. And you will also need some electrical tape to tape the wires together. Alright, so on to the tutorial. Alright guys, so the first and most obvious step to replacing the battery is you're going to have to open up the battery pack here. So we're going to flip it over here, and as you can see at the top, this is the first screw you'll have to take out, and this uses a Phillips screwdriver. I forgot to mention this in the first part of the video. You will need a Phillips screwdriver. If this is loose enough, you may be able to take it out with your hands, but if not, you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver. So first thing, just unscrew that. So once you take that out, you should be able to slide this belt clip off. So just lift up on the end and pull out, and it comes right off. So the next step, you're going to have to take out 3 more screws, one right here, one right here, and one right here. Now these are very odd screws. This is what you need the needle nose pliers for, and they're going to have to be pretty small in order to be able to fit in the hole. The heads of the screws are kind of rectangular. You probably can't see it very well on the camera, but what you're going to want to do is take the needle nose pliers, stick them inside the hole, and grip the top of the screw head. And once you get a good grip, just spin like so. It may take a little bit of force to actually get it to start, but once you do, you should be able to spin it right out. Sometimes it can be a bit tricky. I have already taken these out before, and that's why they may seem like they're easy to take out, but initially it's going to take quite a bit of force to get it started. Just keep twisting at it. Once it's out far enough, you may be able to take it out the rest by hand, but you may have to take it out most of the way with the pliers. And there we go. So I'm not going to bother showing you me removing all the rest of the screws, but yeah, that's how you take the screws out. These are going to be the trickiest part. That first screw obviously comes out real easy with a Phillips screwdriver, but once you get those three out, I'll show you what to do next. Alright, so once you've taken all the screws out, now it's time to open it up. So basically, it's all you have to do is stick your fingernail underneath the top part of this and pull out, and it should snap right off, revealing the inside. So here we have the old battery. As you can see, the new battery is pretty much identical in size, which is what you want. So the old battery will pop right out. So what you want to do now is disconnect this connection here. Should pop right out. And now what you need to do is take this part off. So basically you just want to cut this off. You can use a razor knife, or you can also use a pair of pliers, needle nose pliers. Some of them have a cutter right here. So you can cut these, cut it as close as possible to the battery so you have enough spare wire. Just like so. So now you're left with the connector and a bit of wire. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to strip the end of both of these wires using either a razor knife, which will be quite hard because these are really small wires. The best thing to do is use a pair of wire strippers if you have them. So basically just go just a tiny bit down on the wire, clamp down and pull up. Sometimes you have to twist it a bit to get it off, but once you get it off, it'll be something like that. And do the same thing to the other wire. Sometimes it can be a bit tough to get off, but almost got it here. And there we go. So we now have two bare wires. So now we're going to do the same exact thing to our new battery. So the new battery, the wires are quite a bit larger. Now what you're going to want to do is cut the end just before the connector here. Cut each wire separately since they're quite big. Alright, so there we go. Now we have two wires, which we'll now use the wire stripper and get the bare wires on these. Alright, so take it right off just like that. Do the same thing to the other wire. And there we are. Actually, might want to get that just a bit more. It's a little easier to twist them together when you have a good length of wire at the end. Alright, so we're all set with that. Now we have the bare wire here and on the old connector. So now what we're going to do is twist the wires together. So obviously you want to twist the black with the black and the red with the red. Just go and twist them together. Something like this. And then take the other end, twist that together. Oh, it's coming off here. See what I'm going to do so that doesn't come off again. I'm going to tape the one and then I'll twist together the other side. So take your electrical tape, take off a small piece, and just wrap it around the two wires. Just like so. Hopefully that'll stay on. So we want to take this side, twist it together, and use another piece of tape and tape that together. You'll probably want to put some extra tape on it now just to make sure it doesn't come apart. Alright, so now that's all taped together. Now we have the new battery with the old connector. So now we'll be able to connect this side to the new battery, just like so. And then this should fit nicely right inside. And you want to kind of um, tuck the wire into the casing like so, and place the cover on. In theory anyway. Alright, so now we have the cover on. So now we'll give it a test. Alright, so the final step before we put the screws back in, we want to test this thing out first. So what you're going to want to do is take the AC adapter from your Game Gear, or also a Sega Genesis Model 2 AC adapter will also work. Plug it into the side of the battery pack, just like this, and switch it to the on position. If everything goes well, you should see the power light go on there. Now you're going to want to let this charge for what I've read online is about 10 hours, and the battery light should turn off once it's fully charged. And hopefully, once we test it out on the Game Gear, it will work perfectly and it'll power up. So that's the best case scenario, obviously. If the charge light does not go on, you may want to check your connections to where you twisted the wires together, and make sure those are nice and secure. If they're not quite secure, what you may want to do is strip a little more of the coating off the wires so you'll have more of a connection, and then tape them up again and try it again. So I'm going to let this charge, and once it's fully charged, I will test it out. Alright guys, so things didn't go quite according to plan for me. I left this thing to charge overnight. I tested it in the next morning and plugged it into the Game Gear, and I got nothing. The Game Gear just wouldn't power on. So it seems the battery just wasn't taking a charge. So I'll tell you what the problem was and how I fixed it. So it turns out the battery that I purchased was missing a part. Without that part, it just wouldn't work. So as you can see, I took the coating, just cut it off the new battery, and as you can see underneath, you have actually two batteries. Now these two batteries need to be connected in order for this to work. They're connected, as you can see on the original battery that was in here, they're connected by a metal plate that's on one end, and this is on the opposite end of the wires. So basically, that part was missing from the new battery. So I had to find a metal plate, which I actually thought of later. I could have actually just taken the metal plate off of the old battery, I would think. I really don't know how that's on. I'm assuming it's glued on. So if you need to do this, you could take it off of the old battery, or try to anyway. But I used a piece of flat copper that I found and just taped it onto the end of the battery. So after I did that, everything worked perfectly. As you can see, I'll test it out now. Here's the Game Gear. You just plug in the cord from the end of the rechargeable battery pack, and make sure, of course, that the rechargeable battery pack is in the off position. You only put it on the on position when you want to charge it. It's kind of confusing. I don't know why they decided to make it that way, but hey, that's what they decided to do. Anyway, once you do that, just switch on the Game Gear, and voila, as you can see, it works perfectly. So one more thing I should note, on the end of the battery there was this plastic cap. Now this normally would cover up the metal plate that's at the end, like so. But you cannot put this back onto, or at least I couldn't with the piece of metal that I have here, because I believe it's just too thick and it won't fit in the case if you put the plastic cap back on. So I had to leave this off. If you use the piece of metal that's on the original battery, maybe it will still fit, because this is a lot thinner than the metal that I used. But anyway, I thought I should just mention that. But yeah, so that's the problem I had and how I fixed it. If you guys have the same problem, this is how you fix it. But anyway guys, that's just about it for the video. There's really not much else to do except close this back up again, and you'll just need to put the screws back in with the needle nose pliers. And that's about it. You should be all set. So I hope this video was helpful to you guys. If you decide to replace the battery in your Game Gear battery pack, this is the way you do it. So anyway, if you like this video, please comment, rate, subscribe, and thanks again for watching, guys.